Ahí viene. Ok. Alright, ok. Social distance. Marico, qué lindo. LOL. Uf, marico, ¿qué van a anunciar, huevón? ¿Qué van a anunciar? Marico, ¿qué irán a anunciar, perro? Qué lindo. Oh. Ay, necesito esa mierda en Minecraft, marico. Lo necesito a él en Minecraft. Imagínate que tú estás buscando resto y de repente un monstruo te aparece, no joda.
The update that we know that so many of you, and well, so many of us as well, has been wanting for such a long time. It's
The cave update.
The cave
¡The cave update! ¡Yes! ¡The cave update! ¡Vamos! 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 ¡The cave update!
It must feel
¡Vamos!
amazing to be able to tell everyone.
¡Vamos!
Seriously, like, I'm so excited about this.
Wow.
I mean, even before I joined Mojang, I was always thinking about, like, when is the cave update gonna
Oh,
come? And
marico,
this is it,
sí.
but it's also got the cliffs as well. It's
Sí,
got the mountains.
marico,
like, this
sí.
is such a big update, and I'm so excited.
Sí, marico,
How are you feeling,
sí,
Agnes?
no puede ser, marico.
No, it's so
Pero
good.
también dijeron
So
de cliff,
we
o sea,
have been working on this
de los
update
barrancos.
for quite long, and we're like, we can't wait to tell
Marico,
everyone.
van a meter
And now
nuevos
we just
flores, weón.
announced it, and it feels
So
it's
we're actually
amazing.
getting our first live look at some reactions.
Oh,
Okay, that's very
so
cute.
cute.
Tan lindo, marico.
Those mobs are very, very excited. This year we asked some of our
Marico, the
communities to
K-pop
submit
days.
questions that we'll answer across the
Ay,
show.
marico, que la tengamos
This first
pronto, por
question
favor, marico.
definitely
Que la
feels like
tengamos
something
pronto.
everyone wants to know.
Mi pregunta es, ¿por qué se han tardado tanto en actualizar las cuevas
Hacking
y
games.
cuándo llegarán? En verdad que hemos estado pidiendo esto por muchísimo tiempo.
Why has it taken so long? Like Brandon, I've been waiting a long time too.
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Marico, qué
So
bien,
since
huevón.
this update really is the update, like we have been dreaming about it for so long, so it felt so important for
Marico, va
us
a
to do
ser
it right.
grande.
Like we don't want to rush it.
Sí,
But
esa, no
now,
la querían
now feels the
apresurar.
right time.
Va a
Like we
ser
have spent
gorda,
the time
marico,
we
va a
need
ser
to really like,
grande.
understand the vision we have for the update, and also to make sure that we understand what the community actually wants.
Mhm.
And we've also like planned around it to make sure that we really can work together with the community to make this and like as epic update as possible. And we have
Buenísimo,
also
marico.
hired some new amazing developers to the team.
Buenísimo.
And you're one of the amazing developers, Brandon.
Yeah, I joined this year in January, and I actually came from the community. I used to do modding for 10 years. One of the first mods I work on was the Aether, which is like a dimension that it's sky islands and
Oh, el
stuff.
working-
And
el
yeah, I'm just so
trabajo en
happy
Aether.
to be here and
Qué
working on an
loco.
update this epic.
Sí, mamá, vos, pero lo dejó a medio.
We have another
Thing. So we really want this
Sí.
update to have something for everyone. So
Buena.
actually, we made sure to map all the features in the update to different player styles to really see that we fulfill
¿Cómo?
that goal.
That's so cool. And you had such a big thought process.
Como
on
que
how you
dependiendo de
decide
tu
what you
personaje
put
te va a
into
afectar los updates.
an update this big.
Yeah, we have spent quite a lot of time on just making sure that we have a very good like fundament for the update. For example, we did the player style mapping, and we've also worked with design pillars. So the design pillars, they kind of describe the vision of the update. So for example, they help us when we like prioritize between different features, and also when we design each specific feature.
Uf,
And we have three
marico.
pillars for this update. And the first one is actually all about like the spectacular mountains, the snowy snow, and the mischievous goats. Because at last year's live, the players voted for these features, and we felt like it's so important to deliver on that promise. So we actually wanted to have it as a pillar.
Yeah,
Las cabras
and another
fantasmas,
pillar that
¿qué?
we actually integrated into this was adding strategy to mining. So of course Minecraft already has plenty of
Epa!
strategy in mining, but we wanted to see if we could push that just a little
Estrategia para
bit
mining.
further and add even more mechanics that make it interesting for players to mine in the
Van a
caves.
cambiar la mecánica, gafo.
And the
Uf.
third pillar is to create an underground of marvel for the players. And that pillar is a lot about like adding variation to the underground and like contrasts and like
Ay,
inspire
marico.
players to like
Nueva
their
dungeon.
own
Creo que acaban de
underground
mencionar nueva
adventures
dungeon.
to build underground.
Hecha
And
de cuarzo,
one thing
creo.
we have done to like fulfill this pillar is that we have added new cave biomes, and one of them is the lush caves.
Marico, nuevo bioma de cueva. Lush Caves, Lush Caves. Marico, ve esa vaina, marico. Marico, ve esa marico. Marico, es preciosa, huevón. Es preciosa, huevón.
It's so beautiful.
Es
It doesn't feel
preciosa,
childlike.
huevón, es preciosa.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted
Lo
to
que
make
hemos
sure
pedido
that,
por
of course,
tanto
in
tiempo,
Minecraft,
marico,
all
es
the original caves,
preciosa,
they're
huevón.
pretty much the same. There's not much variation in terms of vegetation or different features inside of it. So for this, we wanted something which is a bit more like light and lush and actually has
Qué loco,
vegetation.
marico, qué loco,
And I mean, I think
qué
it
loco.
looks amazing. Allow you to understand what you're doing.
Ok, entonces va a ser difícil encontrarla. Debe haber un loot o algo. Vimos una planta que se abría y cerraba. Puede que haga algo, qué sé yo. Ajá.
That you find in the roof of the lush cave, and it will drip particles from that flower, but it will also actually feel like a big volume around it with particles. So it's similar to the particles that we added to the nether biomes in the nether update. But the cool thing here is that you can move the flower if you want to and get these particles anywhere you want in your world. So you can actually be very creative with that.
Oh,
So
güey, es
awesome.
decorativo, decorativo.
The lush caves have a real glow to them from one of the plants.
Yes. So there are vines in the in the lush caves, and they have glowberries on them, and these are actually a light source. You can also pick them and eat them.
Nuevo bloque de luz. Nuevo bloque de luz.
That we actually have is the
Y
drip
y se aumentan
You can
porque son
actually
las
see that
vines.
they kind of grow from like water or anywhere else, and they grow quite tall, but they have like a little plant on the top that you can actually hop onto. So the idea of the mechanic behind it is that the leaf will actually tilt down when you stand on it too long. So this will actually make you fall through. However, after a few seconds, it'll come back up. So it's kind of this like platforming block that allows you to just, continue platforming over and over again, which I hope is really exciting for,
Ve, y se caen si te quedas por mucho tiempo, ¿eh?
Yeah, you can build like your own platforming levels, and then they will repair themselves. That's kind of
What the fuck, marico, es como Mario, ¿eh? ¿Ve? ¿Ve?
It's so beautiful
Marico,
in there. And
qué
there's
loco.
actually a mob coming to the lush caves.
Yes, there is. But we will actually not tell you about this mob now, because in the end of the show, we will show even more features coming to the Caves and Cliffs update, and then we're gonna show that mob.
This is the first time we have so much that we're actually splitting the update section into two, at the beginning and towards the end of the show. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's exciting.
You've also worked on improving the cave generation.
Yes.
Yeah, so as you can see here, I mean, this is drastically different to what caves used to look like. And there's definitely still the old style of caves, but we wanted to make sure that there was much more variety in the sort of caves, and the shapes and the sizes.
No, brother, ve esa vaina, marico.
Water underground.
Yes.
Ve esa ve como donde puedes encontrar diamante. No, cambiaron el juego buenísimo.
You can might find like a cave lake and another.
Se pasaron, se pasaron.
And this also means that we get naturally generated waterfalls, which is so pretty.
Rich, papá, ¿estás viendo esto? Papá, por favor. Por favor, decime que esto no te emociona. Decime que esto no te interesa. Decime que esto no te da vida, huevón. Qué loco. Marico, vi.
And that is just such an exciting opportunity
Marico,
to
vi.
traverse the caves in a very different way than you used to.
Yeah.
Nah,
We
brother.
were playtesting, and then one of the devs like, look at this is so fun, and all of us just started to go with the boat.
Ve, marico, cómo se va abajo, marico. La minería va a ser tan
Thing to note here is that you
diferente.
can see that a lot of the ores were actually glowing. This is just for
Wow,
3D
marico,
purposes.
qué locura,
Ores aren't
huevón.
gonna glow now. It's just that the caves tend to be quite
Qué
dark, and
locura,
we want
perro.
to make sure that players can see the shapes of the cave.
Now, will that only be for the like normal caves, or will this run across all of the new cave biomes?
Yeah, so the really cool thing is that like the new cave shapes and sizes is completely independent from the new biomes. So that means that we have so much variation. Because for example, a lush cave can for example generate in a super narrow tunnel, but it can also generate in like a huge cavern, and that creates completely different atmospheres, but it's still the same biome. So we're really gonna have lots of variation on the ground now.
O sea, esas son generaciones normales, mismo bioma.
Spaghetti and Swiss cheese? Like that's how varied the caves could be?
Yes, I mean, there are so many different variables of how the variation works, and I mean, it has even more variation than the overworld itself. It's just crazy.
It's a lot. Yeah, some of the
Ok,
caves
va a tener más variaciones que el overworld. O sea, va a ser más
like
común encontrar cuevas locas que otro bioma.
variation.
Eso me
And you
gusta,
have
huevón.
another new cave biome to show us.
Yes, so we have the Dripstone Caves biome. And whenever I think about the idea of a cave update,
¡Wow, marico! Mira cómo se ve esa mierda. Son pichos.
difficult, you know, it's a very unique shape.
Pensé que el bloque es otro bloque.
But I think the way that the artist put it into Minecraft works quite well.
Marico,
Of course, there's some
ve.
mechanics surrounding this, so you can see that someone destroyed the block up the top.
Nah, huevo, nah, marico. Dime que te hace daño, te hace daño, te hace daño.
So unfortunately for this zombie here, if you fall on
Marico, las granjas, huevón.
we'll get hurt.
Las granjas, huevón.
There's another interesting
Marico,
mechanic in
qué
the
loco.
Dripstone caves.
Yes, so maybe you saw in the video that like from the stalactites.
Marico, qué loco, necesito esa versión ya.
Dripping water.
Por
So actually, if you
favor.
put a cauldron under a stalactite, it will fill up with water. So it's renewable.
Si tú pones un cubo abajo, se te llena.
Which is stalactites and stalagmites.
Well, that's a very good question. It has been very tricky to remember that, but I think I learned. So we actually, it's hold on tight to stalactite. I was going to say the wrong one. So stalactite is in the roof and stalagmite is on the floor.
Perfect. We've been practicing that, all of us.
For a long time, like even.
And you have something really amazing in this update for sort of redstone engineers out there.
Apa,
Yes,
Redstone.
so we've actually
Apa.
been thinking about this redstone block that lives in the deep dark, a new biome at the deepest depths.
Otro bioma, otro bioma.
We're not going to talk about this biome too much today, but we are going to show some of the blocks and maybe later a mob that comes from it. So
Nuevo mob, nuevo mob,
here,
nuevo
you
mob.
actually see that it's basically this growth, and this is called the skulk blocks. And one of the blocks is called the skulk sensor.
¿Viste lo que hace?
Block. As you can see, when you place or destroy a block, or if you have footsteps, it'll actually detect the vibrations around and then emit.
Nah,
a
guay, qué loco,
signal.
marico, qué loco. Te detecta si rompe un bloque o no y los pasos también, marico, qué loco. Se parece al Warp Forest, marico, me encanta.
Wool with wool occlusion to essentially prevent signals from being able to get into the skulk sensor. So let's take a look at that now.
Qué loco, marico.
And as you can see here, I walked next to the skulk sensor, and it's actually kind of doing an infinite loop where the piston is causing a vibration, and then it's activating the skulk sensor and going over and over again. But here, I've actually put a wall block in between the piston, which prevents the signal from going to the skulk sensor.
Oh, se hace un bucle. Claro. Porque detecta el movimiento del pistón.
And only allow it to detect vibrations in front of it. And vibrations can be so many different things. You know, it can be a snowball, a hit, it could be an arrow, it could be footsteps.
Chicos, si no lo hicieron todavía, dejen su like y
Another
suscríbanse.
thing we had a bit of a happy accident with this because we realized that we get wireless redstone thanks to the skulk sensor.
Yes.
So, and we didn't even plan to add it, but then when we started playtesting, we're like, wait.
Tenemos redstone
that's so
Wi-Fi,
exciting.
marico.
Well, you can just build so many cool things with that. So it'll be exciting to see what the community will build.
Yeah, you're really
Wow,
looking for
Mike.
community feedback to make sure this like feels great for everyone.
Absolutely. I think because this is such a unique mechanic, we really want to make sure that we get it right. And, you know, we love the redstone community and we want to make sure
Estoy
that we get
triste,
it right. So any
porque sé
feedback
que esa
or
versión no va a
ideas,
salir
send it to us and we will work with you to make this the best block that it can be.
Por favor, que esa sea la
And now, you
1.17.
said there's
Por
another
favor.
mob coming later.
Por
So I
favor.
think it's time for a new mob coming to a Caves and Cliffs update.
It is. And this is a very scary mob. And it lives in the, like the deepest of the underground, in the deep dark. And this is a very
¿Qué es un boss?
dark
¿Qué es un boss?
place.
¿Qué es un boss? ¿Qué es un
And
boss?
the cool thing is that this mob is very well adapted to the environment. So it can't see anything. So it's the first blind mob in Minecraft. And that's very interesting.
Pokémon,
because it's
Pokémon,
such a mechanic.
un mob ciego.
Instead, it will react to vibrations.
Y reacciona a la violencia con los ojos, ya, claro, con los...
So, if you aren't like very careful,
Marico, me voy a morir.
deep dark, you might upset that mob.
Marico, creo que es una variación de
with
Enderman.
this mob, we really wanted to make sure that we kind of recaptured that feeling of the first night of Minecraft. And like we can often forget that Minecraft can be a pretty scary game. So we wanted to make sure that we
La
could kind
primera
of
noche en
get
Minecraft van a
caves
hacerlo
can
bien
be
maldito.
scary, they're dark. And all I'm gonna say is that when you go into the deep dark, I want to make sure that you're very quiet and watch closely for the warden.
The Warden, el guardia. Marico, ¿sos bloques? Warden. No, gafo, qué loco. Marico. Se está viendo buenísimo, gafo. ¿Esto es soundtrack del juego? ¿Esas velas? ¿Ya estaban? ¿Y esas velas? Marico, me van a matar. Marico, es que tiene cosas de Ender. Va a ser una variación de Enderman, marico. Nueva dungeon. Nueva dungeon, marico. Ay, gafo. Nueva dungeon, marico, qué loco. ¿Qué es eso, huevón? Ve el movimiento de esa mierda, marico. Marico, qué loco. Marico, ve esa vaina, marico. Parece el Nether. Ay. Que te dropeará, huevón. ¿Viste el corazón? Marico, creo que van a meter al golem también del Minecraft Dungeon. Esto es demasiado de Minecraft Dungeon, gafo, aunque no esté. ¡Ve lo que te quita, marico! Marico, lo que te quita, huevón. Marico, ¿vieron el movimiento? Gafo, tiene animación y todo. Sí, sí. Estaba lleno de nederita. No, marico, ese tipo fulmina. El mob más fuerte. El mob más fuerte. El mob más fuerte.
Be careful, like sneak all the time to not make like any kind of movement that it will detect. But that's a lot of fun.
O sea, si shifteas, creo que no te detecta.
Scary, but in a good way.
Bacano.
You wanted to kind of take everyone back to that first night experience with the warden.
Absolutely. I mean, I had such an amazing experience when I first played Minecraft. It was terrifying listening to zombies underneath my house and in the caves, and hopefully we can bring that back to players, but, you know, 10 years later.
Qué loco, marico. Acertadísimo, muy bien, acertadísimo.
Amazing, because you hear so many lovely first night stories. It's such a big thing, and I mean, I'm also very fond of my first night in Minecraft, so we hope to give that experience again.
But you really balance sort of the look of it. It's like, it's almost cute, but also really, really terrifying. How did you decide?
We actually worked a lot on, how does scariness look in Minecraft? Because we wanted to be very scary, and we didn't want to take away from scariness. But we felt, let's add some derpiness to it. This is like a mix. So, for example, we added the mouth. I love the mouth. And some actually reacted like, oh, it's so cute, which I think it's more scary. But
it is more
I think
scary.
we find like the perfect balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really has character.
Yes, definitely. Well, you've been sitting up here. You just announced an update that everyone has been waiting for, and we actually have some tweets that have come in.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Okay, that's amazing to see. So much excitement. Oh, even more tweets. So, it's lovely.
Ah,
Like we
quieren a la
really
comunidad,
developed
se les
this team
nota.
together with the community, and now to see that people are so happy, that feels so good.
sí, yo estoy felicísimo. I am so happy. Come on, I'm so happy.
Update like this, and we just love this game, and we want to make the best update that we can for everyone.
That sounds awesome. Another Minecraft novel, and this one's called The Mountain. Speaking of mountains, remember last year's vote? It was a fierce competition, but the mountains won after 2 intense rounds of voting. Well, I have a sneak peek into what your vote is bringing to Minecraft on the cliff side of the Caves and Cliffs update.
Ahí está.
They're both mischievous and
Las cabras, las
at the
cabras.
same time. As you can see, they live on the mountains, and if you aren't careful, they
¡A
might.
la mierda!
They also have excellent jumping skills.
O sea, que una maldita de esas te
Also
puede
get
perseguir.
better mountain generation with spectacular and more dramatic mountains, with height-dependent generation. That means things like tree lines and mountaintops that will be more
¡Oh,
challenging.
marico!
And speaking
¿Vieron,
of snow,
¿Vieron cómo estaban los
yes,
árboles,
it will
marico?
be snowier. We will also have a new block called powder snow.
Powder snow.
Which will be a kind of trap block. It looks similar to snow, but if you or a mob walk on
Avalanchas.
it, you'll fall right through. Now let's talk about this year's vote.
Underground, but of course we also want to add like new things to find, like new resources, and one of them are crystals.
Cristales. Por favor, dime que se puede hacer una armadura con eso. Dime que se puede hacer una armadura con eso. Qué hermoso, marico. Marico, ahora sonido. ¿Ese sonido de Minecraft?
They're so beautiful.
Yes, that the moment you turn the corner and you see that glowing thing, that's so, it's incredible.
The atmosphere in the crystal geode, it's like mystical. Yeah, they're so pretty. And we were thinking a lot about like what is the purpose for crystals in Minecraft.
Ajá, eso es lo que
One
quiero saber.
thing is, like, they should have a use, and we
Telescopio. ¿Y para qué, pues? Bueno. Mira. Un telescopio.
That is amazing.
it's such a useful item. Super cool. And the cool thing is that, so yes, you use the crystal shards to craft them, but you also need something more, and that's also a new thing that we added.
¡Oh! ¡Oh! ¡No puede ser, marico! ¡Nuevo hare! ¡Wow! Marico, wow. Marico, me tiró un cobre.
It's copper!
That's amazing.
Yes,
Wow.
new ore.
Wow.
And in
Qué
you saw the
loco.
copper ore in the video.
Qué
And
loco.
the interesting thing with the copper
Wow.
ore is that it generates in a different way. So normal ores often generate like an ore blob, but copper is different.
Dos maneras de
So
generación,
imagine that
dos
you
maneras.
are out mining and you see copper ore, so like, okay, I'm gonna mine the copper. And then you
Marico.
see some stone, it's like, they
Qué
look a bit
loco,
different,
nuevo
so you
ore.
continue to mine, and then you find another copper ore, and you probably go like, okay, I think I found a copper vein. So we're actually adding ore veins to Minecraft. And
No.
they really add so much to mining. It gets so interesting because it's kind
No.
of like trace when you mine, and they tie so well to the pillar we have about adding strategy to
Venas de ores.
That's amazing. And you
No me jodas.
personally wanted copy.
a really long time.
Wow, bloques que añejan, ¿ve? Bloques que se añejan. Qué cosa tan loca. Uf, pero ese bloque es hermoso. Ahora me pregunta, ¿se podrá minar de vuelta?
And copper won't only be used for the telescope. You actually have another really cool thing that you'll be able to craft with it.
Yeah. So, Jens talked a bit before about these design principles that we have in Minecraft. And one of them is that if something bad happens, the player either caused it or it has a way to sort of avoid it. And one of those exceptions, for example, is lightning striking. Now, some people like to build wooden roofs in Minecraft. Some
Un taparrayos. Un matarrayo, marico. Un matarrayo. Quiero esa mierda.
Like the grandest castle on
Quiero esa mierda. Dígame, por favor, que tenga redstone. Que tenga redstone.
not a good idea, but
fires.
yeah. So to try to help the players with that, we are introducing the lightning rod.
Marico, imagínate que eso de una señal de redstone como electricidad, ¿no? Es como una mochila. Pero parece que tiene muy poca... Muy poca... ¿Cómo se llama? Que es muy pequeña. Oh, no, esa es la llena. Eso está chulo, marico. Pero parece muy pequeña, parece las shooters, ¿no?
Yeah, this is awesome. It's such an elegance, right? And I think the bundles are really going to help with that problem.
Oh, para
So
el
the thing
problema de la
with bundle
basura.
is that you can place many
Vale.
different kinds of items in.
In this system, you're basically going to find these excavation sites all throughout your world. And you can make this new tool called the brush that is going to help you uncover the mysteries of all these dig sites.
Me encanta, huevón.
Ancient structures, and you can sort of use the brush to clear away some of the rubble that may have collapsed in those structures.
Graba ahora tiene
Sometimes
dimensiones.
You might even find something shiny inside them. But, and this is important, if you are not careful enough, like in real life, you can destroy that artifact. And when that artifact is gone, that artifact and all the secrets it held.
Marico, esto es impresionante, huevón.
But if you're careful enough, if you take your time and you're deliberate, you can get some of those hidden artifacts. And for example, here we got a ceramic shard, which is basically how whoever lived here used to tell and pass on their stories.
I love the story sides of the.
What the fuck, marico, what the fuck con esta
We
mecánica.
want to deepen the mystery in Minecraft. And when you find these hidden artifacts, you kind of find like connections and hints. And we will never tell the full story, but these will inspire the players to tell their own
Nah,
stories
huevón,
about
qué
their own
mecánica tan
Minecraft
loca.
worlds.
Qué mecánica tan loca, me encanta, me fascina, marico, me encanta esta mecánica.
For example, here we
Qué
see
mecánica tan loca.
an exhibition that someone built for this, where he can compare all the different clues he finds, right, and try to preserve whatever was down here, and he can compare what we found with whatever new thing, and sort of try to connect the pieces, right? And here we see those pieces connected in a clay pot, actually trying to reconstruct them back.
Oye, pero son...
Create it however you like.
No
You can create your
jodas.
own stories, or try to guess how those pieces used to connect.
It's also so fun to be very creative with these new pots because you can put the shards in any way you want.
Qué
Exactly.
loco.
And when you're pleased with your creation, you can fire them up, and you have your own painted clay pot.
Pretty.
Qué loco. Se pueden hacer cosas de arcilla, qué loco.
Yeah, the art we're seeing is still work in progress, but I personally like the dragon. I think it's cute.
Yeah, they didn't say programmer art isn't pretty.
Yeah, you know, the problem is the artists are way too good.
Yeah.
They just make us look bad.
archaeology is amazing. I
Sí.
mean, the excavation sites
Qué loco,
are
marico.
incredible.
I'm
No, yo voy a
so
tocar
excited
también.
about this. I've spent a lot of time about it, and I actually got to do a lot of awesome conversations with actual archaeologists from all around the world, and it's been...
Qué loco.
Honestly, I sort of feel like I got so passionate about it myself that their passion sort of stuck to me, and it was so amazing to learn more about this, and I'm really excited to see where it goes from here.
And you have a dev diary coming out on our YouTube channel where you kind of explore all of the archaeology even more.
Yeah, it's honestly really, really exciting. So I had so much fun with this, and I learned so much that I decided that it can't stop with me. So we're gonna do a dev diary when we're actually gonna talk to those archaeologists, and actually we might even get to visit some interesting locations.
That is amazing. Well, it feels very sad, but we're almost out of time. But we've been hinting at a new mob, like over the course of the show, like 3 or 4 times. So are you gonna tell us about it now, please?
Yes, now we're gonna tell you. It's the cutest predator you will ever meet.
Ahí está. Y se encuentran ahí. Axolotis. ¡Ah, el Cholotis! ¡Marico, qué lindo, weón! ¡Qué lindo! ¡Marico, qué lindo! ¡Marico, cómo metió esa vaina en Minecraft! ¡Qué loco! ¡Ve cómo está! ¡Qué lindo, marico! ¡Qué lindo!
One sound I can make after seeing that, which is like
Your ocean
¡Qué
adventure.
bueno, marico! ¡Te siguen! ¡Qué loco! ¿Tienen alguna propiedad nueva? ¡Atacan! ¡Son como perros! ¡Son como perros acuáticos! ¡Ay, marico! Se viene una
and now I see
aqua
why you're
update.
calling them the cutest
Se viene
predators
una aqua
you'll
update,
ever meet.
marico.
Exactly. So when you scoop them up in a bucket, you can actually create your own axolotl army, basically, and charge into the oceans with them, and they will help you fight various, they'll attack cute fish as well, but they'll help you fight the drowns and the guardians, and they're actually quite useful when fighting guardians because they have this special ability that whenever they take damage, they sort of play dead, and when they're playing dead, no mob will actually attack them. So they have this time to regen back health and then jump back into the fight together with you. And
Se
if you
regeneran,
learn how to
precisamente.
counter with them really well, they might even heal you during the battle.
That is so cool. But okay, so you
Si tú tienes una pelea con ellos, te pueden hasta curar. Esto rompe UHC, marico. Esto rompe el UHC.
And the axolotl.
You got enough before everyone else.
It's the glow squid!
¡Oh! GG, marico. GG.
I guess everyone was mesmerized by the cute kid, not just the tiny ones.
GG, marico. Es que...
Not expecting
GG.
that. That is so awesome.
Yes, like I didn't expect it at all.
Yo quería el de nieve, pero...
Glow squid